Hey, welcome back, guys. Gather in on this morning and close the doors. I repeat,
Close the doors.
in all seriousness, though, we're here to remember, reminisce, and retrospect on the life of Sean Famous Figueroa. Famous was a fun-loving, talented, happy-go-lucky kid raised in the most grittiest of environments, searching for answers that weren't always there, but trying to navigate, nevertheless, the harsh terrain. We were given flashbacks of his tough upbringing, one that was rife with violence, beatings, homelessness, and despair. Famous's only recourse of protection was his big sister Jess and his mother, both of which who would do their best to keep him out of harm's way, albeit in futility as we are now here. Famous was like most kids. He wanted love, respect, influence, and ever so subtly, power. He exhibited the latter desire through his favorite toy and wrestling icon, Hulk Hogan, even relaying to his mother in her time of turmoil that he would protect her, similar to what he called the Hulkster. Hogan gave a young, powerless young man the ability to aspire for something greater than himself, as many of our icons on television do. And as a result of that hope, Famous began his ascension through the rigorous environment of Southside Jamaica, Queens. One of his best friends on that journey was none other than Kanan Stark, who would become not only his friend, but another pseudo-shield to the violent ways of their neighborhood. Famous was very lighthearted and had many gifts, but he wasn't built for the environment that he was raised in. So in many ways, he wasn't a product of it. He was trying to transcend it, to subvert it, to overcome it. In season 1, we witnessed this play out in many ways, with Famous running as Kanan's number 2 while trying to make a name for himself in the rap industry. He would get a taste of that success through his first novelty hit, Streets Need a Body, a now doomed title as we sit here today. This song would not only propel Famous and elevate his confidence, but it also lifted up the people around him, including the morale of Lou, who had his own dreams of breaking into the music world, and Jukebox, who would springboard from this feature and attempt to pursue her own musical career. But Famous did have one problem though, and that was his penchant for talking too much. In the right industry as far as using his words, he often had a way of overusing them as well, often speaking out of turn, lacking tact, borderline being offensive, especially with his overtures towards Jukebox, who was barking up other trees the furthest thing away from him. But Famous always hid this shortcoming behind that smile, a hilarious nature, and a lighthearted spirit. And he would make mistakes, one of which would even get him kicked out of his own home in season 2, a mistake that would prove integral in adding to his fatal fate. Because once you put a child out, you literally offer him up to the game, which is a rough, callous, and uncaring order in and of itself. While on the streets, Famous tried to hustle his record and still find some of the joy that propelled him to pursue his artistic endeavors, all while being hassled by the cops in the process, yet always being supported by his best friend, Kanan. It was in compensation of this support that Fame would make the ultimate blow to his short life, the disposal of Freddie by way of the gun. Now on one hand, Famous was removing an op, a hurdle to his progress in the streets, while simultaneously defending Kanan's honor. But on the other hand, when we look closer at the matter, Famous was recapturing that fleeting power that was robbed of him as a kid. As we've previously mentioned, he was the product of a violent household and often felt powerless within the confines of it, only getting the support from the women who raised him, but never being in a position to defend himself. It was this dynamic that contributed to him taking Freddie's life. He wanted power. He wanted to feel useful. He wanted to feel protected outside of the influence of any of his protectors, his mother, Jess, and of course Kanan. So Famous made the kind of mistake that you can never go back from. As Ghost would once tell Tariq, if you do this, you can never go back. He took a man's life and was tormented for the remainder of his as a result. Famous would begin season 3 in the spirit of depression, agony, turmoil. These are the things that would consume him, with his only recourse being music, his original expression that gave him a small taste of freedom, of power, of influence, of his own say-so in his own life. These feelings were unbeknownst to his best friend, who by this point had become consumed by a spirit of his own, the spirit of hustle, the pursuit of happiness by way of the pursuit of profit. These desires overshadowed the sensitivity necessary for Famous to truly get delivered from the demons that consumed him. And Kanan would unfortunately take out these frustrations on his best friend without the proper knowledge or understanding of what he was truly going through. And even when Famous expressed what he was going through and confessed to his friend what he had truly done to their op, by then it was too late. Kanan was too far gone to reach back for his friend from an emotional standpoint. So in many ways, Famous was left out all by himself to sift through these complicated emotions and to figure out a way to live with himself for taking the life of another man. And taking the life of a man is one of the worst things that can happen. If you ever had a conversation with any soldier, anyone who's participated in the unpardonable act, they'll tell you, when you kill a man, you see his face at night. It's hard to sleep. This is what Marvin was getting at with Jukebox when he questioned her on the death of Mara's husband and the callous way in which she executed it. But everyone deals with this dynamic differently. For Jukebox, she had righteous indignation and justification, sensing the act as something that was needed and as something that she could also live with. Having been exposed to her own dangerous environment in the streets, the death, the destruction, she had become used to it, and even, dare I say, delighted in it. Something that even scared her own father, who's a killer in his own right, yet more so for business than for pleasure. Although we have seen Marvin take the life of people who've disrespected his name in the heat of the moment. And that small shortcoming of Marvin is what Jukebox exists in entirely, and even gleefully. But Famous was unlike this. He was disgusted with himself. How could I take that man's life? Why did I do that? These are lamentations he even gave to Kanan upon his confession. And Kanan responded with something as prophetic as it was callous. You need to bury that deep within you. And Fame tried to. He attempted to bury this within his soul, while it completely eradicated his psyche. And once he reached a fork in the road where him and his best friend could no longer coexist under the same roof, he was forced back to his mother, his original protector, and confessed everything to her as well. And had she been listening with the ears of God and the ears of the game, she would have heard her son's cry and heard it to the point where when she found that gun, she wouldn't have gone to the police. She would have gone to her son and spoken with him, created a platform where the space would be safe and he could truly work out his emotions without judgment nor discontent. This would have been the model preferred to the outcome that we just received, which was a mother moving rashly and running to the police against her own child, the second grievance against him, the first of which being her kicking him out to begin with. So now Famous was in a situation where he couldn't work out his emotions, but he had to work politically and thoughtfully to keep himself out of jail. And what truly came of that? As we last saw Famous, he was unwilling to snitch, to say any names. And once his mother truly saw the error of her own ways, she opted to get him legal representation. But by then it was too late. Famous was in that quicksand. He was in way too deep. He was stuck in interrogation between the NYPD and the feds. And the streets, as we know, were talking, were watching, were listening. And by the looks of Famous' body, they were responding as well. Who committed such a heinous act against such a beloved character? No one knows. Many thoughts come to mind, and many names run through the brain, but one thing is certain and clear. Famous was loved. He was a cherished character, and he will be missed. And the people who did this to you will have vengeance taken out upon them, because your last protector in life will protect your honor in death. That we can be certain of. But what are your thoughts on all of this? What are some of your fondest memories of Famous? And who do you believe carried out orders to have him executed in such a demonic fashion? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 in the collection plate for us. Hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Open the doors and go in peace.